good at accessibility, for example, if you know a lot about that because of your professional work, you know, here are some of the things that the people pushing accessibility in the community are trying to do. And these might be great places for you to jump in at. So what we've been trying to do during the Drupal 7 release cycle is like bubble up these issues because, you know, no one can find the golden patch of 1500, you know, thing. There's just no way. But we're trying to like bubble up things that either would be easy to do or that you might have a specific interest in, so that, you know, that sort of makes it easier for you to find a place to get started. Now, IRC is a general tool. What I basically use it for is an RSS feed. So I don't look at it all the time. I just leave it open and then, you know, let it fill up. And then, you know, when I'm on a phone call, I'm like, you know, then I'll, you know, go back and read what people are saying. I also use it as a tool for getting unstuck. If you're like really like in a programming music, you know, it's fun to just like talk to people for a little while and like, you know, rediscover humanity, you know, because it exists outside of the code, you know, and stuff like that. So the other thing that I need to get off my butt and do is I've been trying to schedule. We call them patch review sprints, but basically it's like, and it's usually on the weekends because I work all the time. So on the weekends, and normally this would be the weekend we do it, but I'm here, so you know, maybe we can do it tomorrow or something. But it's you know, it's focused time that's just for that. So if you're new to core development and you want to know how it works, we've got everybody in IRC, and that's what we're doing that day or those 2 days. Focus time on that. So if you have any questions, it's kind of like a free period to do that. So I would say like watch for that. I announce that on the planet when I finally get home and figure out when we're going to actually do it. So, you know, I'll announce out on the planet, drop by those. If you find yourself with free time, like what Charlie said, you can, you know, just as something as simple as like clicking through and just reading issues and being like, oh, I've never seen that one before, I'm going to mark it as duplicate. That is so tremendously helpful because if someone who's not a core developer does that, that means the core developers can work on developing core and they don't have to work in housekeeping. It also helps get you really familiar with some of the drives that are happening in the Drupal community. And if you're relying on Drupal as your platform for your clients and your hobby sites and all this, it's important to kind of stay in touch with the direction that it's going. So when Drupal 7 comes up, you're not like land-based in the face with this completely different paradigm. And you know, realistically, I don't know how long all of y'all have been involved in the Drupal community, but those of us who've been involved for a few releases now know that after the new release of Drupal comes out, your job for the next 6 to 12 months is porting Drupal modules. So getting familiar with the API changes and stuff like that ahead of time, and while there's still time to comment on them and say, hey, actually this thing you did is not flexible enough, I needed to do this. You know, that's a really important thing to do as well. Yeah.
One thing okay. So one thing I wanted to note here is that we radically want to change this pattern that after Drupal is released, then we are porting modules. We are releasing unstable releases, which although called unstable, they are fairly stable, they are pretty okay to work with. You would not put them on a production side, but they are something to work from. If you have a country module that you are maintaining, grab one of them, port your module. What you will gain from this? One, as Angie mentioned, you will know Drupal 7 when it comes out. That's good, because a lot of developers want to know it. You will. That's an advantage when you need to snatch a job. Second, Second, if your content module does something which the core developers have not solved on, and you find this 3 months after the release is out, it's way too late. If you find it 3 months before the release is out, we can fix it. As far as I know, yes, CCK is ported because a good half of it is in core. 2 guys are porting views. Mosh told me that he's going to port OG organic groups by the time 7 is out. Drupal.org is now on 6 and is going to be on 7 before we release 7, which drags a few modules with it to 7. So what we want this time, that by the time 7 releases, most modules are going to be ready. please join this effort. Mostly because you gain from this. You gain a lot from this. That's why we are doing unstable releases to help with this.
Another thing that is going